Welcome to Witch Talks, the series for spiritual seekers, witches, and enlightened souls. I'm Hana the Suburban Witch, professional tarot reader, astrologer, and witch, and I hope you're ready to get up close and personal with your favourite witches. Hello, my darling. Thank you for joining me here today and sharing your energy with me. I appreciate you so much, and I'm excited to chat with you today about spiritual reconstruction after a deconstruction. And, I love a good definition. So we're going to get some definitions out of the way first so that we can all have some idea of what I'm on about before I dive headfirst into this topic. And this is a topic that's been requested quite a lot from my beautiful listeners. And I've shied away for a while purely because it is a lot to condense down, and it's tricky to condense down because I'm not the only person that has reconstructed after deconstructing, and my way of doing it is not the only way. There are so many different ways, and I've only done it my way, but I have a lot of clients who have done it different ways, so I do have a little bit more exposure in this area. But most of my clients are going from Christianity to witchcraft, and that's not always the case. And I want this episode to be for anybody. So let's jump in. When I talk about deconstruction, I am specifically referencing something that others might call faith deconstruction. And in my personal case, it was evangelical Christianity that I needed to deconstruct. And the term deconstruction actually originated with the ex-vangelical movement. Ex-vangelical being ex-evangelical Christian. And that didn't begin until 2016. That's actually still quite recent. But since then, the techniques and concepts have been applied to all different kinds of religions and belief systems. And I think that is wonderful and necessary. So Wikipedia says that deconstruction is a process of personal religious re-examination. People who deconstruct have described destabilizing feelings of anxiety, guilt, anger, confusion, and fear, as well as curiosity, awe, and liberation. As an open-ended process, the outcome of deconstruction is uncertain. Personally, I think it's crucial if you've been raised in a religious context or indoctrinated in any way, shape, or form, to take that apart and re-examine it before making the choice to continue believing and following or not. Now, some people will deconstruct down to no spiritual belief. Perhaps they become an atheist out of all of this, meaning they have no belief in a higher power. That's fine. Or some people might identify as agnostic, which is what I did for a very long time after coming out of the church. The English biologist Thomas Henry Huxley said that he originally coined the term agnostic in 1869 to denote people who, like himself, confess themselves to be hopelessly ignorant concerning a variety of matters, including the matter of God's existence, about which metaphysicians and theologians, both orthodox and heterodox, dogmatize with the utmost confidence. I love this concept of agnosticism just being like, you know what, I'm hopelessly ignorant and I know I am. And just claiming that, because even those of us who have, like myself, quite strong spiritual beliefs now, I still don't think I know everything. Absolutely not. There's no possible way I could know everything in terms of the nature of the universe or God or gods or spirits or anything like that. I have my beliefs. I know that there's more to it. And believe it or not, some people deconstruct, pull out all the bits and then reassemble it exactly the same, which is also valid. And in many ways, that's the best way to be religious, by critically examining it. However, this is a little bit more rare. But I definitely have more respect for people who are indoctrinated into something, step back, deconstruct it, re-examine it, and then step back in. So much more power to you if you've done that process. And lastly, there are people like myself who deconstruct, play with agnosticism, and then either purposely or by happenstance end up reconstructing a new religion, belief, or spiritual pathway for themselves. And that's what this episode is about. So if you are curious about that deconstruction part that I was talking about, I'm going to give you a couple of Witch Talks podcast episodes to go back and listen to that deal with that topic, because we're not talking about the deconstruction part today. So currently there are approximately 7 episodes that deal with the topic of deconstruction, specifically from the Christian church. They are titled Religious Trauma and Abuse, Bullet Holes in the Bible with Justin Best, Deconstructing Christianity with Rosie Quartz, and Shadow Work and Ethical Sex Work with Rosie Quartz. So that's a 2-part episode, or an episode broken into 2 episodes. Changing Religions with Yvonne Abro, The Christian to Witch Pipeline, and Reclaiming Your Body After Purity Culture. All of which you can find in my ex-vangelical resources playlist, which includes episodes from other podcasts that I've been interviewed on around these topics, as well as generally good podcast resources about deconstruction, and I've linked that in the description box for this episode. Plus, you can check out my class on deconstructing the rapture doctrine specifically, which is available in my shop right now. Okay, on to Reconstruction. So spiritual reconstruction is a way of rebuilding spiritual or religious beliefs. Think of it like finding your feet again. Or better yet, let's pretend we had a roast dinner on the weekend and we had a lot of leftovers, and with those leftovers we make an epic roast sandwich and it's just so delicious and filling. Or you could make a roast wrap or burrito, and that's what it feels like I've done. I've taken bits from the previous religion that I was a part of, and some of those still remain in the way I practice today, and some are totally different. The roast or Christianity was traditional, it was expected, but we took it apart and used some of those pieces to make something totally new and amazing. I know it's a terrible analogy, but I'm good at those terrible analogies, so just roll with it. So we're going to go into this like you're starting perhaps as agnostic, okay? You know there's something out there, something more, but you have no clue what it is, and believe you might never know, but you want something. The current situation isn't fulfilling as it is. This is the fun part. This is where you get to explore. So personally, I feel I was thrust into my path a little bit. There was an element of fate, and that won't be the case for everyone, and that doesn't make anyone's spiritual journey any more or less valid or special. If I had my way again though, this is what I would do. It's a 3-part process, and to be completely honest, I probably still do a variant of this constantly as a way of reassessing my beliefs as I go forth with new information and finding out new things that maybe discredit things that I believed before. That is healthy. That's how we should do this. So, step 1, I'm going to call it the binge step. You can either be rabid in your consumption of everything spiritual and religious, or you can be a little pickier. It's up to you, depending on how well you know yourself and what you're looking for in your spiritual reconstruction. But what I want you to do in the first step, in this binge stage of the process, is expose yourself to many, many different belief systems. Be open-minded and see it as you're an explorer. You're just finding stuff out about new and wonderful ways of thinking. You're just seeing what's out there. It's like religion shopping. Like being a mystery shopper for religions. So what you could do is you could attend a session or service for each of one of the major religions, which are Christianity, of which there are numerous denominations, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, just to be curious, just to see what it's like. You could attend a spiritualist church or even a moon circle. I really highly, highly recommend, if you're spiritually reconstructing, that you get a mediumship, psychic, or astrology reading, or some form of divinatory reading. The reason I recommend that, and it's not just because I offer astrology readings, I promise it's not, but because for me personally, getting a mediumship reading was a critical step in figuring out my beliefs around the afterlife. And we'll talk about this more in a minute, but I've noticed this for lots of people. Doing that kind of thing where you do something you might have felt a little bit skeptical about before, or do something that was poo-pooed in the church, for example, like this was so not allowed, and you do it and it changes your mind because you're like, oh wow, oh, I didn't expect that, right? These are the things we want to almost look for, areas that we could challenge our previously conceived beliefs. It's amazing and it's magical what it can do. Mediumship readings specifically, they're going to challenge your thoughts of the afterlife. A psychic reading, they're going to challenge your beliefs around what is and isn't possible about energy, psychic stuff, right? Astrology or a tarot reading or palmistry, it's going to start challenging your concepts of fate, depending on who you go to as well. And then the other one is watching media and reading books about people's religious or spiritual experiences. Really, really, really fascinating. Really eye-opening. And your brain's going to be constantly taking notes as you do this. Some things you'll notice feel really wrong. You'll step into one service and just be like, oh, I do not like this. And it's just as important to find the things that feel wrong as to find the things that feel right. Which brings us to step 2, which is the notes section. So what I would recommend if you're reconstructing your spiritual belief system into something new and wonderful for you is that you have a dedicated journal or Notion document to take notes, however you do that best for you. So what are we writing down? Well, if something feels wrong, weird, or off, write it down. That's what you know to avoid in your own spiritual journey. If it feels good, exciting, or right, then you would write that down too. This is going to give you valid information. Let's say you go to a different service at 5 different religious service style things, and you notice that in each one the thing that felt good was kind of similar, right? You liked this aspect. You're like, great, now I know I need that aspect in whatever I do or choose to do. So for example, you might go to a Pentecostal church service and really love the energy and the music, but you go to a Catholic service and dislike the solemn, serious vibes. So that's going to tell you something about the way you're going to craft your own spiritual practice. You're going to do something that maybe includes upbeat music or lots of people around you, or things aren't so serious and people have fun. Maybe you really enjoy going to a small moon circle and you want to find something that prioritizes small gatherings of people rather than lots of people. One of the beautiful things about Reconstruction is you're reconstructing the way you commune with the divine, commune with your spiritual side, commune with other people. And this almost like taste testing and note-taking around it is helping you. And it might sound a little shallow, but some people might have that preconceived notion of, oh, you don't choose a religion based on whether it's fun. Why the hell not? Why the hell not? Why does it have to be serious all the time? Or you might want that serious somberness in your spiritual expression. That might be the type of person that you are. But I dislike the concept of one true religion or one true way of doing it. I don't think that's the case. And I think the diversity in spiritual expression is absolutely necessary for life and living in a healthy, thriving society. Why not align your personality and your spiritual expression with something that feels aligned, right? This could just be me. You can totally disregard. But I think we will find the beauty, our own truth, in a unique way to us. And that's what this is about. Perhaps you realize you don't actually want anything to do with anyone else. Everything you go to is like, nope, nope, nope. And a solo system works best for you. Personally, I crave more community aspects in my spirituality, but life and circumstances with moving into states so frequently and having a disability, having small children, it just makes that really tricky. So I find those spaces online instead and know that one day in the future this might change. And here's the most critical part, I would say, in this 3-step process is you want to keep notes of the underlying tenets or beliefs that feel right as well. So I'm talking big picture parts of spiritual understanding, like what happens after we die. Where do we come from? How do you explain spirits, ghosts, or entities? Now, you can do this without going to those services. If that's like, Hannah, no, hell no, I am not walking into a church or a mosque or any of those sorts of things. You can just look up a bunch of different belief systems online and be like, all right, what do Buddhists say about what happens after we die? What does Islam say? What do the Druids say? Like, you just go through them and find out. And you might hear one and be like, yeah, oh yeah, I can get on board with that. And another you might be like, oh, no, don't agree with that at all. So you're wanting to answer what happens after we die, where do we come from? And when I say answer, I don't mean you need the answers. I mean, you might vibe with the possibilities inside that answer. So where do we come from? How do we explain spirits, ghosts, and entities? What about moral code? Do you believe in fate or not? What about reincarnation? So think of those big picture questions that spirituality and religion aims to answer. It gives us that framework. When you can start to piece those together, whether you find them all in one place or across multiple different belief systems, that's your journey. That's for you to find out. Now, some books that I really recommend because they helped me on my own personal spiritual reconstruction journey are as follows. The Kybalion by 3 Initiates. This was really helpful after Christianity at reconstructing my concept of deities and spirits. It might not be that way for you, but for me, this was a big moment. It's a book I reread frequently. It's a book I refer to frequently, and it's really shaped my own personal spiritual worldview. Another book that I cannot recommend enough is called Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brian Weiss. Fantastic book, fantastically written, highly recommend. This helped with the concept of things like reincarnation, which I do personally believe in. This was one of those stepping stones to getting there. As were the works of Ian Stevenson. His research into the topic of past lives and children with past lives has been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, and really impactful on my spiritual views. So I would recommend Brian Weiss and Ian Stevenson for any concepts around past lives, reincarnation, even if you're just trying to rule it out, right? Like, you know what, Hannah, I do not think I believe in reincarnation at all. Go and read one of these books and see if that changes your mind or if it makes you more convinced that it's not the right belief system for you. Do you know what I mean? Because even though I believe it, I'm never going to tell someone that's what they need to believe either. There's a book called Changing Paths by Yvonne Abro. I have interviewed them on the podcast. That's the book I wish I had way back in the beginning of this journey. It's really, really well done and well laid out. So that's another one I would highly recommend. You can also find the book review for that specific one on my blog. Speaking of my blog, there's a recent blog post on what is paganism. If you go there is a brochure you can download for free. You don't even have to give me your email address or anything. And it is based on, I got one of those little brochures in the mail called Islam Q&A, and it was basically like a proselytizing type of brochure, and it gave me the idea to make a paganism one. So I have them sitting on my shoe cabinet at the front door, and when someone door knocks, I go, oh, I've got one for you too, and then I swap it with them. So if you want to do that too, or letter drop ones about paganism just to give a taste of their own medicine, feel free to check that out over on my blog. So we've got the book review for Yvonne's book, and then also the What is Paganism one with the paganism brochure. But anyways, and then another book is called Anatomy of the Spirit by Dr. Carolyn Myss. MYSS. I really, really appreciated that book in the early days of discovering my own beliefs again, because that's what this process is. We can call it a reconstruction, we can call it a discovery. It puts you in that hero's journey or the fool's journey from the tarot of figuring things out, which leads us to step 3, the toe dipping section. Now, a lot of people get stuck at step 2. And we call a lot of these people might be armchair philosophers, armchair witches, whatever they're going to be. Armchair meaning they're stuck in that study and research stage and they never take it further. You can know a lot of stuff, but the real crucial aspect I find is the doing, the exploring and the experimenting. What are your beliefs on deity, right? And if you do believe in a deity, will you pray to them? Try it. Try doing a prayer. See what happens. See how that feels in your body to do that. Does it feel weird? Does it feel wrong? Does it feel natural? This is going to tell you so much. So remember the steps. The steps are binging the information, taking notes about the information and figuring out what you think about it, and then doing it, dipping your toes, getting your toes wet and actually exploring and experimenting. And in that experimentation stage, that's where you'll start to really craft a pathway for yourself. That's where the real actual reconstruction happens. That's where you do things and you go, nope, throwing that out. Nope, throwing that out. Oh, keeping this. I want more of this. Let's find more about that. So it's not too tricky to do. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I think fate was woven into the way this happened for me quite significantly. I had some things that I simply couldn't explain, or they happened to me, which led me to looking into more about that and sort of pushing me along that path into witchcraft and the psychic work that I do now and astrology. That might not be for everyone, right? As I said, and that's okay. But also, if you're noticing these little fate things that seem to happen and pull you in a different direction, follow them. See where they lead. There might be magic at the end of that tunnel. So I hope this helps you to reconstruct a spiritual life that feels fulfilling and gives you the answers that you seek and the type of spiritual expression that you're looking for and that feels good for you. Just a small caveat before we wrap up as well. When you're in the exploration phase, please be mindful that not everything is for you. You can be interested and learn from other traditions, but if they are closed, do not take from them. If they are closed, maybe consider they might not be for you as well, and that's okay. Think about, if you're drawn to it, what is it that's drawing you in, and how can you get that in a way that won't make the spirits angry? And won't be a bit of a dick move, you know? And if you're ever not sure, research it. That's what that second stage is for. It's that research stage, the taking notes stage, figuring it out stage. And don't discount looking into things like other philosophical concepts as well. Theosophy, Thelema, which I say with a grain of salt, please, because there is a little bit of a thing I've noticed with people who are interested in Thelema and sometimes white supremacy sort of stuff as well. So you can do it without that, but it does seem to attract those kinds of people. Could be a good one to do shadow work if that's you. See my episode with Mandy on shadow work. Hermeticism, though, ceremonial magic, like there's so many interesting things, just paganism in general, Wicca, all the different types of Wicca, all the different types of witchcraft, traditional witchcraft. There's so much. There's so many interesting things out there. And you might make a decision and change your mind. That is so okay. I love when people change their minds. It's wonderful. Next week, we're going to be talking about the dark night of the soul. I will be answering what it is and what to expect for you on the podcast. Now, wherever you're listening, if you have the ability to rate the podcast, it would be wonderful if you can give me 5 stars. If there's the option to leave a review, I would absolutely adore that as well. It helps quite a lot in getting the podcast out to new people. And send it to someone. Send one of your favorite episodes to someone who you think would enjoy it. I love getting new listeners and I love hearing from you guys too. You're always welcome to email me with your questions to be answered on a Hana Help Me episode, or even to just say hey or tell me what you loved about a specific episode. It makes it so much more fulfilling. And connecting with you is what it's all about. So I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are in the world today. Check out the ex-vangelical resources in the playlist I've linked below, or my Rapture class. It is delightfully unhinged. I think you'll love it. And I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are in the world today. And I'll chat with you next time. Have you been searching for a safe space to connect with other witches and grow and develop and learn together? The Suburban Witches Society will bring you knowledge and friendships that are spiritually aligned, plus a whole heap of fun. You will get access to our private community Facebook group and group chat, which that chat pops off. There are monthly group calls, you get a reading with me, you can do Q&A, and we all just chat and hang out together. It's like a slumber party. You are welcome to wear your pajamas. This is not like fancy influencer witches on a Zoom call. We are very real over here. You can take a peek at behind the scenes episodes of the podcast that are uncut and you get access to them before anybody else. There's a resources section where you get PDF downloads, you get access to classes that are not available to the public. Here is what one of our members, Brandy, has to say about her experience in the Suburban Witches Society. Signing up to the society has been the best present to myself. My witchy knowledge has exploded and I've forged some of the deepest friendships in this group. So come and join Brandy and everyone else in the Suburban Witches Society, meet your new witchy best friend, and get a little bit closer access to yours truly as well. I hope to see you there.